Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so very warm welcome to all of you for today's meeting. And we have the wonderful opportunity to have a guest speaker this time. And I'm hoping to get more of that now, as really it seems like this situation is going to continue for a little bit. We don't know, but anyway, it's nice for that. And so today we have Louisa Gupta with us. And you might be wondering, I think most of you know actually, but we have the same surname. And so she's also my mother. And she was introduced to this Raj Yoga meditation about 40 plus years ago. And so it's really been, a good part of her life. And the first, she grew up in Scotland, but then moved to India after getting married and lived there for about 25 years. And it was there that she discovered the center, the meditation center, and so started to use the practice and the spiritual knowledge in her life. And she can tell us a bit about that. But then I think it's now maybe in the last 20 years, maybe more than that actually, when she's been back in Scotland. And so she lives in Edinburgh and looks after the Brahma Kumari Center there. So her topic today is Count Your Blessings. And this has really been a theme, I think, that we've had for the last little while, really. It's somehow the turn of the year reminds us about our blessings. So looking forward to hearing what Louisa has to share with us. And so please welcome.
Well, thank you, Radha. And I'm very happy to have this opportunity to share some thoughts, and especially on the topic of blessings, because I think blessings are something that we all not just enjoy, but we need, especially at this time. So greetings to you all for the new year. It's still quite new, but moving fast. But it will be different for sure, with plenty of excitement, no doubt. But definitely blessings of any order are welcome. So let us see how to find and count them. Usually at this time over Christmas and New Year in Edinburgh, and no doubt in other cities and towns too, there are usually a lot of festivities, lots of lights and decorations, and people out to enjoy themselves no matter what the weather. However, this year, no winter markets, no big wheel, no outside skating rink, no big New Year street party, which happens every year. Of course, a few lights and people trying to keep up their spirits. Some shops were allowed to be open, but of course they were trying to keep up appearances in the hope of sales. And as everywhere, restrictions on even families meeting, let alone parties, although there were some, as we heard above us. And the restrictions are still on, as we know, and getting even stricter. Certainly in UK, we're mostly in level 4, and maybe it's like this in Rome too. Well, on this somber note, let's see where to look for cheer and dig around for blessings, because of course they are around, even if we do have to search or dig a bit. Well, we are now at the start of another year, and it's good, I think, to take stock of where we're at. Probably you will have done this already, maybe several times, as we moved through December into January. Well, I know I did, and probably like you, kept assessing things that happened over the past year. No doubt it's been a bit of a shock on many levels, and maybe one could say it's difficult to find any blessings, but certainly some did. And you may remember what went the rounds. The benefits of COVID-19. What were they? More time with the family, don't have to travel, a chance to have some personal space, notice nature more, and maybe there were a whole lot more that you could think of. And this was in April, I think, when there was hope of an end to the virus and energies had not become jaded by the marathon that we were and still are in, trying to keep pace with the forced change of lifestyle. The coronavirus was and still is a huge topic of conversation, isn't it? Just think how much time, energy, resources, etc. have been spent over the past year. So many opinions, advice, government rules that keep changing, of course, research reports, as well as all the video clips, the blogs, the forums, etc., for and against what the different countries' governments are doing. And huge amounts of money spent trying to keep things going, and the drama of it all, demanding powers of tolerance, forbearance, flexibility, discernment as to what is true, what is false, and we could go on and on. Well, this, of course, is the dark picture, and most of us would say that the world is in a terrible state, very uncomfortable to live in. But I think we must not allow ourselves to drown in the flood of all this despondency, but to focus on finding the way out. And this is where looking for and counting your blessings comes in. It is said that difficult circumstances come to teach us something, to make us think out of the box, whatever shape that box may be that defines the boundaries of our thinking. So immediately, this puts a new slant on things. People have said for a long time that the world, and especially the West, has become far too materialistic. So now is our chance to reassess. Could this be called a blessing? Maybe, if I take some of what I don't need to the charity shops, and I know some people have done that. Then there is the expression, stretch and grow. We have certainly been stretched to accept circumstances, but have we grown? And what does this mean? I remember when I came back to Scotland in the late 90s, having lived in India for many years, I was asked to look after the BK Centre here in Edinburgh. And as it was a new experience for me, I felt I was being stretched in at least 20 different directions. And it wasn't all that comfortable. But after some time, I realized that I had gained not just experience, but also power in myself. One of the wonderful traits that all people possess is the ability to cope, to find humor, to display a greatness that they didn't know they had when confronted by challenges and difficulties. So this is where we can take a look at blessings and what they mean to us. What are blessings that we're now talking about? Well, we can say that they're gifts, no doubt, something that is bestowed, whether material or non-material. Blessings can mean a wish or an expression of goodwill. But definitely a blessing is something that we're glad to have. We can say, that person is a blessing to have in my life, or that item is such a blessing for me, or I am blessed to enjoy the circumstances I find myself in. We even talk about a blessing in disguise, meaning that it didn't appear so initially, but after some time or later on, the nature of what happened or what was given is deemed to be beneficial in some way or other that I didn't realize at the time. And this can be difficult, of course, when we're in circumstances like just now that definitely don't seem to be or seem to contain any blessings in, or not much. But I think we can think of blessings as something that are desirable, and therefore the importance of counting them. For we live in a world that seems to be less than beneficial for a great number of people. And so I think all the more reason to identify and count them as they would appear in our lives. This we all know, for we have been told from a very young age to be thankful for what we have, even if it's not really what I want. There can be a desire for more, for we are in the habit of looking around and at others, viewing them as having more than we have, perhaps, or having things that we don't have. And so there's not really the feeling that what I have is something that is a blessing. But I found that this is where the practice of Raj Yoga comes in. Because I learned the art of seeing the benefit where there doesn't appear to be any. I learned to look at powers and virtues as blessings to possess in my own life. And I learned to cultivate them in my personality. This becomes very useful at this time, at a time such as the one we find ourselves currently in. For the hard fact is that I cannot have what I want. I can't travel around as I used to do. I can't meet the people and in places as I used to do. I do want freedom to do as I like, go where and when I please, not to mention the looming curtailment of a whole lot of other commodities because of government policies. And I'm thinking of Brexit now and all that drama that we have seen and find ourselves in. Anyway, so already I can feel dismayed that life has taken a turn for the worse, with doubtful promises of things getting better. Well, yes, I can say that I'm not out there begging or in a war zone or in hospital. But it is true, I think, that I've got used to my comfort zones and I don't like them being taken away. Well, no one does, do they? But then Raj Yoga teaches us not only how to use the mind in a beneficial way, but to focus on positive aspects and ideas, and also see the bigger picture of life. The world drama that we are all in, and play our respective parts. I can view not just this current life, but with my third eye, see the past and also the future, because I'm aware of the cyclic nature of things and also the laws that govern life in this physical world. Because we learn all these things in Raja Yoga, looking at the bigger picture and the cyclic nature of everything. But By laws, I'm looking at two main ones. First, the law of karma. The energy that I express or give out, and that comes back to me in some form or other. And this we tend to forget because we don't always see the immediate result of it, of course. But it's there. There's the saying, chickens come home to roost. Don't know if you know that one. Then the second law, that of entropy, which is everything in nature goes from a state of harmony or beauty to a state of expansion or decay. It is time-bound, and ultimately there comes a time when it is in a form that is of no more use. Then, as we can see in nature, by a short process of rejuvenation, whatever it is returns to its original condition and brings about a replica of itself anew. When we think of the flowers that come up in spring and the leaves that come on the tree. So hence the idea of cyclic time. Not only do the seasons rotate, but so do the ages of this huge world drama that we are in. And I think this is an idea that is gaining more acceptance, that we need to start looking a little bit deeper and understanding what cyclic time is all about. And as you may know, some scientists and professionals are querying the theory of evolution of life, certainly with regards to human beings, as people are questioning the ideas that are being taught and expressed. And so some scientists and professionals, they declare that it makes more sense to see all life as energy flowing in cyclic patterns, and have even found some proof of this. Well, I'm not going to go into all this, except to say that I have found some of the ideas fascinating. There is so much out there that is being shared on YouTube and the internet. And one of these ideas that I found so interesting is called the torus. And I don't know, some of you may be familiar with that. As I understand it, the torus is a unit, if that's the right word, don't know. It's a unit of energy flow, whereby the energy flowing in this unit comes back on itself and is thus self-sustaining. I know I'm digressing here a bit, but I count this as one of my personal blessings, to be able to come across ideas, that clarify for me mysteries which beforehand I couldn't understand, but would like to find an explanation. There were many things that we were taught in school, and one of them is the empty space in the atom. And now we're being told that it's not empty space, but it's energy flowing. And this has a tremendous relevance and an explanation for many of the mysteries in this world. Anyway, all I'll say about the torus is that there appears to be a connection with the beautiful mathematical flower of life, if you know that. It's found in many different parts of the world in ancient sites. And I feel that it's nature expressing itself in a magical way. And it was considered to be sacred, and hence the terminology sacred geometry, because there were so many geometrical figures contained in this flower of life. Anyway, to go back to looking at blessings, when I consider the karmic laws that govern all our actions, I do need to be aware of thinking that if I feel I'm light on perceivable blessings, that I feel that blessings, I don't have too many blessings in my life, then somehow it's my fault. I'm at fault, or I don't deserve them. Because we've been brought up in a kind of blame culture, the feeling of guilt that somehow it's my fault if things don't go right. And so I may complain and even rant against what seems to be my plight. But I do need to be aware that life is full of ups and downs. And if good things don't last, then neither do bad things. You know, there's the symbol of the yin and the yang. So this is the ebb and flow of life, the universal energy that we're all part of. And it's true, we don't know what is round the corner. But one thing is for sure, that if I can move away from dwelling on the injustices in life, whether my life or elsewhere, and instead focus on what is beautiful and good and true, then the positive energy of that has to have some beneficial effect. And this is connected with the laws of karma. Definitely. So taking this further, we know that blessings are powerful expressions of goodwill, of wishing benefit, of having a benign attitude. And these can actually bring about a change of situation. You know, there are many stories. You probably can think of some. And so this is what we want to focus on, especially just now, when everyone wants this situation that we're in to go away. So by focusing on positive energy, both in the giving and in the receiving, and in my outlook and attitude and everything else, it's all adding to positive energy that's going out there. But I do think we also need to be aware of the opposite, to be careful we don't fall into that. And what I mean by that, a curse is a harsh word, I know. But if I'm jealous, envious, or angry, or get into any negative state of mind, then what are the vibrations that are coming from me? Certainly not blessings. And of course, I don't feel any the happier for being so cross and out of sorts. This brings me to the understanding that what I think and my vision, my attitude, where my deeper feelings, are they beneficial? To look at them and see, are they helping or are they not? And so I think it's very important to be aware of all these, because they are the energy that I'm expressing. And if you think, what are most people expressing these days? Huge amount of fear, huge amount of mistrust, and all that energy accumulate. And this is what we have to somehow or other cut through, I think, and find blessings of any order and keep them in front of me. So even if I'm justified in being upset, I have to ask myself, do I want to stay in this state of being? Well, of course, it's nice to have things going my way, but life often isn't like this, as we know, maybe for some of the time. Hence, it is important not only to count what you feel are blessings in your life, but to consider the potential ones, to turn the difficult, unpleasant ones that you would not call blessings, but to turn them around to see how they can actually bring benefit or turn into a blessing. And this is what we learn in Raj Yoga, to see the bigger picture and to see how it is possible to find benefit in everything. And so we do have examples of people who can and have done this. For example, Nelson Mandela. He was able to acquire the power of forgiveness and find deep peace and wisdom from his time that was spent in very unpleasant circumstances, in being denied living a life of freedom. How many years did he spend in jail? So as we continue to find ourselves in confining or difficult circumstances, it is good to be able to use the mind to go beyond dwelling on the unpleasantness. To know what is happening, definitely, but not to let it affect us and pull our spirits down. It is a mistake to think that if someone is suffering, then I have to suffer in sympathy. To show that I care, I have to somehow be miserable. But we all know how it's nice to be with someone who is positive. And there are any number of self-help resources that emphasize this point, that if you want to look on the internet, of course, and if you want to fill the mind with happy, positive activity, you can find this, even if part of you is railing against it all. Yes, we don't want the present circumstances to go on. And certainly it's not easy to be positive just like that, and to dig up what could count as blessings when in circumstances that are definitely not pleasant. This can be a challenge, no doubt. And so I'm now going to share what I find is helpful. I find that for me, one real blessing is the ability not to be afraid of the future. This is because I understand that the times we are in are like a confluence of two energies. The old order is dying out, and a new wonderful order is in the making. And to realize that everything is happening in a natural way. There is no blame or regret, because this is the way that nature operates. Nature doesn't say, why is that happening? Should be like this. Plants, human bodies, civilizations, all flower and then in time decay, giving way to a new order. So we are currently seeing the workings of nature and the world we live in that is preparing for a new order. And I think we have to believe in this. Well, there are lots of people who are saying similar things in different ways. And I feel that because we are spiritual beings having a human existence, all we have to do is to focus on being spiritual and to understand what this means. We are being carried along by Mother Nature, and we can't go against her wisdom. Despite all the crazy things that people have done over the centuries, it is all part of the energy flow. the yin and the yang. There's no blame or regret. It just is. It is the natural flow of harmony to disorder and then back to harmony again. Like the seasons going round and round. And we do feel that we are at the end of a cosmic cycle. And if you have looked at any reputable astrologers, they are saying the same thing. Anyway, another blessing that I feel is to be under the protection of the divine, or you could say the supreme being, or maybe guardian angel. And I think this is very important because it gives a sense of security. So this feeling holds good for many people who have what is called a living faith. And it is a buffer against the energy of what we don't like or don't understand. There have been many stories of people who felt that they were helped by a guardian angel or some force of good. We see this also when animals help humans. You will have heard of stories of dolphins protecting people who were swimming, and other animals, dogs and cats, and many stories like this. So there is the force of goodness. And this force of goodness is worthwhile holding on to. Letting go of all the other things that we find horrific or unbelievable. One of the biggest blessings, I feel, is to have a cheerful and loving position. Loving disposition. Position in my mind. This can be cultivated because it's nice to observe in other people. And it's well worth doing so, no matter where you are coming from. So I feel that energy in a beneficial direction is never wasted. And this is the basis of faith, is it not? So let us have the faith that all will ultimately be well. There's the saying, the boat of truth may rock, appearances may be devastating, but ultimately truth and goodness have to prevail. One of the BK, the Brahma Kumari's teachings that I listened to recently, is the recommendation to hold on to the power of contentment, especially when things are looking glum. In other words, I feel that this is telling me to keep alive in my awareness all the blessings or benefits that I can think of, for this will come in very useful in such a time as now. And of course, writing them down, maybe not every day, but this is an exercise that I've done and we have done. What are the blessings that I have in my life, no matter how small? Just the blessing that I'm able to get up in the morning, I'm able to eat food, drink, that the body is in reasonable condition, that I have friends. There are many, many things, and they can add up. And of course, it's all connected with the aspect of gratitude, that gratitude is very uplifting. Anyway, I'd like to finish with a short story that some of you may know. It's called The Rainmaker. So the Rainmaker. It happened that there was a great drought in a certain part of China. For months, there had not been a drop of rain, and the situation became catastrophic. Some people made processions, others made prayers, and others burned joss sticks and shot off guns to frighten away the demons that brought the drought, but with no result. Finally, someone said, let's call the rainmaker. So they got in touch with the rainmaker, who was from another province quite far away, and asked him to come and help them. Finally, the rainmaker appeared, a slender old man, and he asked for just one thing: a quiet little house and to be by himself. He locked himself in the little house and nothing happened for 3 days. The old man didn't appear either. Then on the 4th day, clouds gathered and there was a great storm. A huge amount of rain fell, and everyone started talking about the wonderful rainmaker. A stranger from another country who was visiting the town went up to the little old man and asked for an explanation. They call you the rainmaker, so what did you do to make the rain come? The old man replied, I did not make the rain come. I am not responsible. The stranger persisted. But what have you done these 3 days? Oh, replied the old man, I can explain that. I come from another part of the country where things are in order. Here, they are out of order and not as they should be, as ordained by the highest code of living. Therefore, the whole area was out of order, and being in a disordered area, I was not in the natural order of things. Therefore, I had to wait 3 days until I was back in my ordered state of being. Then naturally, the rain came. I like this story, for it reminds me to watch my state of mind. So now, perhaps let's spend some moments thinking about blessings that we have in our life. I don't know, Radha, if you want any discussion beforehand.
Well, if anyone has any questions or comments, feel free to unmute yourself and ask or say. Please do share. You're most welcome to do that. And after that, we'll have a meditation. If anyone
Hi,
would like
Radha.
to, yes, please
Can
go
I
ahead.
say something?
Please, please.
Thank you so much, Louisa. This is Wadzi. Sorry, I can't put on my video because I looked a bit disheveled. This was so beautiful. I just so resonated with the fact that it's the natural order of things. And once you look at it in that perspective and you look at it as being nature readying us for the next phase, I think it's beautiful. Thank you so much. I had a rather hectic morning. My daughter's not well, so she's regurgitating everything she's eaten for 3 days. And then I lost the keys to the front gate, and gardening services were coming because my keys have the neighbor's key ring on them as well. And so my day was just a mess. And just reflecting on what you said, I realized that everything was fine. The gardening services came and they produced a ladder and were able to get in. I didn't have to call a locksmith. And my daughter, we got the doctor. So all is well. So thank you very much for that. It really made me feel so much better. Thank you.
Good.
could I say something? Sandra, I am, thanks a lot, Luisa. I got a bit late, but sorry, because I couldn't have the connection. And what I learned today is about these blessings. Remember to write down the blessing that you receive every day or you remember. It's excellent because this give you to a positive view. And thanks a lot for all the things. Thanks really. In fact, I am learning a lot from this Brahma Kumaris University, thanks to Radha and thanks to everything. So really, this is only things that I wanted to tell you.
Thank you, Sandra. Anyone else? Okay, so maybe we can move into the meditation.
Okay.
Louisa,
So
like to guide.
how long would you like the meditation? 10 minutes?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. So everyone sitting comfortably, turning the thoughts within, and feel the subtle energy of the self. Feel that subtle energy flowing throughout the body. Feel that energy that is coming from the core of my being, the energy of peace, the energy of truth, the energy of harmony and inner silence. So that I feel to be in such a comfortable and easy state of mind. And if I find it easy to remain like this, still, with inner silence, and knowing that the vibrations that I am sending out, these are the vibrations of peace and stillness, and they are going out, going to where they are needed. And the more I can focus on feeling myself to be a valuable, positive being, the more everything will come all right in my life. And I think of the blessings that I have in my life. What are the ones that come to mind immediately? So let us reflect for a moment and just emerge and feel, not just think about the blessings that I have in my life. I can feel the company of people that I love and am close to. I can feel their spiritual energy. And I can feel the comforting energy of the Supreme Being who tells me, don't worry, everything is going to work out fine. This is just like a global detox. It is for the benefit of everyone. Just feel the warm sunshine, that spiritual sunshine coming from the Supreme Being. Just filling me with love and power and peace, so that I feel what is sometimes called a state of grace. I can feel the Supreme Being folding me in their arms, like folding a warm blanket round me, protecting me. All I have to do is to hold the hand of the guide, to stay in my own truth, to follow the path of goodness. This is my protection, and this is the basis for all blessings. For I am giving out positive energy. I am living in positive energy, surrounded by positive energy. And so anything else cannot enter into my world of positivity. So I hold on to this feeling that life is actually wonderful, because I am feeling good. I am feeling safe. I am feeling protected. Whatever I need will come my way. I don't need to worry. For the Supreme Being is like the Supreme Mother and Father, there to supply my every need, to comfort me when there is that requirement. And so I can remain carefree, watching the games going on outside, but secure in my own world of goodness, which, far from being selfish, is actually helping the world. For I'm sending out vibrations of happiness and truth and peace and love and goodwill. And I see how it really is all natural to me. My natural nature is to be loving, is to be kind, is to be peaceful. This is what the world wants. And so let me share in sending out vibrations of these beautiful qualities. It's like I'm basking in the spiritual sunshine and spreading waves of happiness and goodwill, knowing that they have to go, they have to reach where there is a need. But this is the natural order of things. Goodness has to prevail. The boat of truth may rock, but it can never sink. So let me hold on to this feeling of inner harmony. Okay, Om Shanti.
Thank you very much, Louisa, for sharing so beautifully. And I think this thing of the natural order of things certainly struck a chord. And I think we have to ask that old man what he did in those 3 days to get himself back to the natural order of things. But I guess if he closed himself in a little house, then he must have been doing some sort of introspection and meditation.
Yes, some inner work.
Yes. So
this is a Tao, I think it's from one of the Chinese philosophical stories.
So thank you again. And this talk has been recorded, so it'll be available for everyone. And have a wonderful afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your presence.
Thank you so much. And I'm being basked in wonderful sunshine. I had to come. I had to put my video on because it's so warm. It's so beautiful.